morning. We're a little tired and hungover, as you can tell. And anyway, as you know by now, that I'm not a morning person, but here we are at Walter Astoria, and I want to thank again Pedro Gonzalez and Song for allowing us to have this wonderful space early in the morning, just for you. We're doing this all for you, and I'm here introducing you to a very talented, wonderful artist, Matthew Kiss. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here, Jay.
And you're going to listen to one of his songs, Swing, right?
Yep.
And you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And we actually met a few months ago. You were in the Ultimate Contest, singer-songwriter contest, and you were a finalist.
I was.
And I was a judge, and I had the privilege of actually listening to you and selecting you. And you were awesome, by the way. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you sang the song Swing. So I wanted to ask you, what's this song about and how did it come about?
Well, Swing came out of a bunch of different feelings. I started writing it, I guess, at the height of the Occupy Wall Street situation. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that it was written because of it. I kind of view myself as an observer a lot of times, and I can't help but be affected by things that kind of happen around me. So I was watching, the struggle and all the things that were happening in the Occupy Wall Street situation, that as one thing. And I was kind of just going through some interesting things in myself at that point in time, and I just kind of had to be reminded that, life isn't always like
rainbows and butterflies.
Exactly. It's not always, it's not always completely easy, and it's not always completely fun. And sometimes you really just have to swing. It came out of some advice that my father gave me earlier on in life. Just swing, kid. And the song almost ironically wrote itself, because all it really took was for me to just kind of see situations that I had been in, or situations that people that I knew or grew up with, or were loved ones were in, and it just kind of wrote itself. There's that image of that 57-year-old man, working late, was just trying to bring money and food home to the family. I knew that guy. I was always close with that guy. So it, like I said, it was just me opening a floodgate and just kind of letting it be what it was.
And when did you start writing, and how did the progression of you becoming an artist, how did that happen?
Well, I started playing guitar as an artist. I started playing guitar when I was 13. Well, if we're gonna go all the way back, way back, my mother was always, my parents were always music lovers. My mother played, still does play habitually, piano, and I kind of, as a child, I'm Russian by descent. Mm-hmm. I'm the first American, so they were like, "You're gonna play piano." Oh, yeah. And I was playing piano for a few years, from I guess the age of 3 to 9, and then around the age 10 I got my first guitar, but didn't really start playing guitar until age 13. Started taking lessons and was doing guitar from age 13 until 17, and I still play. Mm-hmm. But around 16 I started writing poetry. I always wanted to be like this guitar god. I loved Hendrix and Page and Clapton and all these great rock and blues players, and I was also at the same time writing poetry. And I never in my life thought that I wanted to merge the two. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 17, I got really, big surprise, I got really inspired by John Mayer, and went to see one of his shows. And I came back that night. I wrote a song. It's such a corny story. I came back, wrote a song. The song was terrible, but I wrote a song, and I was like, "This is what I want to be doing." And I started at age 17. I started singing and writing, and just been doing it ever since.
And so obviously your parents are supportive and embrace.
Well, in a lot of ways, yeah.
In a lot of ways.
It's definitely not easy having
this business is not easy.
Yeah, the business is not easy, and in so many ways, being a musician is such an uncertain. It's such a crazy path in some ways to take, with so much uncertainty. Mm-hmm. So that I'm sure it's not easy as a parent to know that your son's a troubadour now. but my parents have been as great as I can ask for. That's so awesome. It's they've been really great for the most part, and I appreciate them so much more for it.
And how long does the process take for you, like, to write a song? Like you said, Swing took like virtually.
Swing took one night.
Yeah.
A night in the morning.
That's awesome.
I remember watching this Dylan documentary where someone said that he wrote "Blowing the Wind" in like 10 minutes. And when I heard that, it utterly blew my mind. And only recently have I went through this really interesting process as a songwriter where a while back I was trying to write all these different types of songs and try to make it complex, and then I finally realized that you should write about what you feel, not what you think. And once I started writing about what I felt and not got out of my own head.
Overthinking,
once I got out of my own head and just started writing, I realized that the material that I was writing not only spoke to people more, but I was able to stand by it a lot more. So
more authentic. It came from your source.
Exactly. And once leading into what you asked, once I started doing that, I stopped judging myself so much.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I started writing tunes in like a night or a few hours, or one song I wrote. I'm surprised at myself because like I don't even know where this stuff comes from. But like I wrote one song.
I'm fascinated.
I wrote one song in like 35 minutes, and like I had no idea, because
it's like verbal throw up.
Exactly.
Right.
In so many ways, you just gotta like the way I kind of see it is like you need to. It's kind of like sifting through the silence within yourself and just trying to find it. And a lot of I was thinking about this on the car ride here, like. Just because you wrote a good song one night doesn't mean that you're going to be able to write a good song the next night. A lot of things have to align, and you have to be open enough to let that pass. And sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. When you are, it's great. When you're not, it's completely frustrating.
It's horrible.
Yeah, you can't sleep.
Writer's block. I have writer's block at times, and it's awful. It's like being constipated.
It's the worst. It so is. It's the worst feeling ever. It's worse than constipation. It's like it's emotional.
Yes.
Frustrated constipation.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a new song for sure.
That's gonna be the name of my EP.
Yeah.
Emotional constipation.
I love it. Give me some props.
I will correct.
So speaking of your EP, so you're in the studio. Tell me about that. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm very stoked about it. I would say at this point, like anywhere between 90 and 95% finished with the recording process of the EP. I'm working with an amazingly talented guy named Godfrey Diamond. I met him also.
Yes, we were judges, fellow judges.
You guys were fellow judges. I met him on the same night. He came up to me. He was like, "I love your music."
We were amazed, by the way. We really were. You just blew our minds, all the judges.
Thank you.
And he had mentioned that he was like, "We got to work with this kid."
Thank you so much.
And I'm so glad that you guys got together and really are doing it.
Yeah, I couldn't. It was so, I guess, validating. It just made me feel really great to know that someone that's worked with, like I see pictures of him on the mixing council with like right next to Steven Tyler, and I'm like, this guy,
you got to be like.
I love Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
I love watching other crazy people makes me feel a little normal in the sense that like I'm as crazy as they are.
Right, exactly. I'm not the only one.
Exactly, but I love Steven Tyler, and knowing that he's worked with great musicians and really, I guess, loves and appreciates what I do, it makes me feel a lot better, and in a lot of ways not as nervous about what I'm trying to accomplish.
Was it surreal when the first time you went and you saw the studio and saw that? That's got to be amazing.
Yeah, it was surreal, and like a kid in the candy store at the same time, because it's like whenever I see stuff like that, it's almost like I'm already envisioning what I want to do. Like for the first month process of recording, I had a lot of trouble sleeping at night, not because I was like scared or anything. I was just I was so excited and had all these different ideas that I was was excited to get onto tape.
Yeah, I can imagine.